let's call this meeting to order. If everyone would like to stand, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, since Secretary Donnie Robinette's I guess not going to be here in attendance, I'll have James do roll call.
Jason Bell.
Present.
Don Cummins.
Present.
Donnie is not here. Jeanette.
Present.
Myself present. Jennifer Eccles not here.
Yep.
Joe Hubbard
Here.
No, Paul and Jerry
Present.
And member Robinette is not here tonight and he is the secretary.
Yeah.
Go ahead and designate somebody for tonight's meeting.
Okay, at the end or right now?
Right now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and designate James. Okay,
Jason, for record keeping purposes, did you call the meeting to order? Did you go?
I did.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, so roll call still is valid, right?
John, roll call still good? Do we need roll call again?
Did you already do it?
Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Any modifications to the agenda?
No modifications to the agenda. Under consent agenda, I would like to note that the board package you received, there has been one additional check for the printing of the event guide. So there's a check for that, but it's not reflected on this month's expenses.
Okay, perfect. All right, any committee reports?
You still have to get the consent agenda approved.
Oh, there we go. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
All right, no committee reports and no old business.
It was
all right,
Were you
let's
seconding
go to
that?
the new business. I know that we have quite a few grant requests, so I'm ready for them.
I'm going to do these in order of that they appear there. So we'll call Sarah Taylor from the Johnson County Public Library. I'll give you a brief introduction. So the amphitheater is being built any day now in Trafalgar. That's great. The only thing it needs is programming that first year. So Sarah's going to come up and talk a little bit about the library's vision. Go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. My name is Sarah Taylor. I am the Assistant Director for the Johnson County Public Library. And like Ken said, we're looking at the amphitheater in Trafalgar. Our motivation this year is we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of America. And we really want to do that through some creative, fun ways. And we thought about this rich tradition that we have in our country of music. So we want to do this big concert series that pulls in different genres of music from our American history to kind of tell the story of America. And since Trafalgar is getting the new amphitheater, we thought that would be a lovely place to partner with them, provide some new programming down there that they haven't seen before. So we're asking for $2,500 to kind of get this started. We're hoping to do 4 to 6 of these over the summer and then into the fall while the weather's still nice. Hopefully then, the amphitheater will be up and running. But if not, our branch is right next door to that. So we have an alternate place if we need to kind of transition to another spot or go inside the community center there. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any idea on what day of the week these may, I guess, be held? Is it going to be, I guess, conflicting? I guess Ken would have a little bit more of an idea on that structure. But yeah, I love the idea of having just programming events in the amphitheater, especially how invested we are as an organization.
Absolutely. So we've talked to Brian down there at Trafalgar, so that we'll work with him to work through their schedule. I don't think they have a lot of things planned yet at this point in time. So they're kind of saving some dates for us, thinking we probably will have some on like Saturday evenings. We don't have a consistent time set yet since we're kind of just in the early stages of getting this together, but we will have like different nights during the week or during the weekend, I think.
Awesome.
Might you end up being the entirety of their concert series, or are you still?
I don't know. I can't speak for Brian on that. Can you talk about that? Okay.
So Judy from Brian's team reached out to me. kind of panicked. She's like, oh, this is actually, they're going to build it. It's starting pretty soon. What do we do? Do you bring concerts? Do we? So I gave her the whole rundown that the library is programming 4 to 6 dates. Your choices now are to partner with somebody like RD Productions who will sell sponsorships and put on the whole show for you. Or you can just, here's our band list. You can pick 4 or 5, or pick someone like Aaron Ludwig who will pick 4 and 5, and you can do your own rest of the series. So I would guess that if you approve this tonight, we'll have this, but we'll also have some additional programming.
So you said you were going to do 5 or 6 this year. That's what you like to do?
Yes, we would like 4 to 6, 5 to 6 probably.
2,500 per event, or is that for all of them this summer?
I think that was the max for the event that we could ask for was 2,500. We're anticipating it's going to cost us $4,000 to $5,000 to do it with that many performers. So this will be kind of just the what we need to get started.
So this $2,500 would be to pay for the performers, to pay for the dance and stuff?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Nope. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
A second.
All right, all in favor for the $2,500 grant towards the summer series? Would this be a grant or a sponsorship? A grant towards the summer concert series. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We'll have you come up and pose with the giant chat.
Oh, no.
We're a giant bit.
Yeah, like a big party.
Hey, Joe, we should get you moving an ATM machine. Get the money.
Let's give it to.
That's great.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, please stand.
Right.
Thanks.
A little bit.
Let's get friendly.
Everybody's pretty happy.
There we go. Can you?
No.
And then just the picture.
Thank you. We look forward to your announcements.
Have a Good evening. Thank you for coming.
All right, our next person will be Kim from the Community Foundation. She and I, along with Don, met, and basically they're getting out of the mural creation business, but they have interest in not only keeping the existing murals going, but also if some great opportunities come along, like alleys or some of the bigger things, pooling their remaining art money and ours and putting it in a fund and letting it grow, 40,000 from each, let it grow to 100,000 before touching it, and then pulling out some smaller funds to maintain a mural that's existing, maybe pulling out some bigger funds and partnering with somebody else to get a grant and do a big project. So it's kind of a long-term vision to collaborate and keep art renewed, but also bring some new things to the forefront. So introduce yourself, your title.
Kim Casting with the Johnson County Community Foundation. I'm the president and CEO of your community foundation here in Johnson County. And I do want to make a correction, and I think that this was error on my part on the application. I think we had actually talked about 50,000. So if we got to go with 40 today, that's fine, but it could be 50 and we would match that. So, but just a correction, because the paper says 50.
I believe you're right. There was the conversation.
Well, I walked in here and I was like, oh shoot, that's a 40. So I do think it was 50, but we'll go. So how we ended up here, the Johnson County, in our 25th anniversary for the Johnson County Community Foundation, we were talking about how we wanted to celebrate that. And we really looked across the county, and the things that we fund at the Community Foundation a lot of times is feeding people on the weekends, helping our furry friends find forever homes and those kind of things, but art in the community really gets lost in all that grant making. And so we wanted to do a public art initiative, and there wasn't a lot of public art going on in the county at the time. And so we came up with a Color the County mural program. It was a collaborative community mural program that we implemented. And to date, we have done 16, well, after this year, which will be our 10th year, we will have completed 16 murals in the community. If you look across what has spurred from that, what I believe, we got the ball rolling. Franklin has an arts commission now. Bargersville is now establishing an arts commission. Greenwood has a robust program with arts on the trail and sculptures. Festival Country has since been formed and is now doing art and alley installations. And so the Community Foundation's mission is not to be the experts in art. We want to support those that are doing that. And so as we wrap up in our 10th, this is our 35th anniversary and our 10-year with the program, like how can we continue to support this in the future to make sure that it doesn't get lost in all our grant making? And so a good friend, former board member, an avid muralist, and what do you call yourself? Paint barista. He comes, Don, joins us on those mornings. Pigment. I don't know. He came up with, he has a name for himself, but yeah.
For your request.
How are we going to maintain some of these murals? Because when we get done with them, they're the property owners. It's their responsibility to maintain them, or they can paint over them, just whatever. So what could we do to do that? And so establishing an endowment at the Community Foundation of $100,000 would be roughly around $4,000 a year, which would help with maintenance or installing new murals. I can't tell you how many calls I get every year of like little towns or like little organizations in Nineveh or even Edinburgh or Greenwood. How do you do a mural? Like where is there funding for this? Like who can support this? And so since we do our own mural program, we've been supporting that, but these would be dollars available to continue those types of efforts. The funds, this fund specifically would be a partnership with Festival Country. So Ken and I would be, or someone from Festival Country would be advisors on the programs that we would like to support each year. Priority probably given to our installations between Festival Country and the Community Foundation, and then others that arise that we hear about. Like I said, we're getting calls all the time for art installations and how can you help? How can you paint a electrical box, or how can you do banners in my community and those kind of things. So that's really what this fund would be. It would be a celebration of the arts and a way for us to continue to support that forever.
May I add a couple things?
Yes.
It started from the concern that there's a lot of art in the community, but what happens as it ages? You know, it's not good if we bring visitors to town and they see something that doesn't look and so hot. So we start thinking about maintenance piece and then realize that could grow into something else that also supported future and new art installations. And if you don't know about the Community Foundation, they host probably close to a couple hundred different funds at this point. This is something very akin to a donor-directed fund.
Yeah, this would be a field of interest fund. Yeah.
So for example, if you wanted to create a fund for, I don't know, motorcycle organizations, and you wanted to help direct where the money went out to, you could do that. And this is a little like that, except that it's an endowment. So once we put this money in, we don't have to put in any more. It just lives from investments that are made by the Community Foundation. So they're willing to do half, and we'll do half. That'll take care of the old stuff and hopefully a lot of new stuff.
Yeah. And the hope is that we could continue to add to that at any given time. We know costs continue to rise. Paint has nearly doubled since we started this program. And so we can always add to that fund as available, and in you as well, or community members too. So.
Okay, so just so that it's clear in my head, it is primarily for maintenance of existing murals, and if there's leftover, it would be used for new art, or is it both, or how's that gonna work?
I think that's open-ended. We don't really know. We have, since this is our 10th year, if you go around and look at any of the murals we've done to date, they still all look good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. There's a couple that needs a little refresh every now and then, that or some are faded. But like I said, they are the property owners. So if they don't want it refreshed, they don't have to have it refreshed, but we could always go to them with a stipend of sorts of said, hey, like if we come in with an artist and are willing to pay for the supplies, let's refresh this, and that kind of thing. But it could be for larger scale projects. Like if I think you just did a Greenwood art alley or whatever, if there was something that we wanted to utilize those funds for and you needed a little bit of extra money to push it over the top, we could do that.
In the end, the discussion landed around that, each new situation is a new situation that you deal with at the time. What's the best thing to do now on this day with this opportunity before us or this problem before us?
Sure.
And that those decisions would always be made with somebody at the table from the Community Foundation and somebody at the table from Festival Country.
So I know that I talked with Ken about this. I know that I've kind of been made privy to a few of these things, especially my concerns. My biggest one, similar, I guess, to James, what he was saying is what is considered art. Is it sculptures? Is it murals? Is it refurbishing? Where's that language and who represents that? Who makes these decisions every year?
Yeah,
So I don't know if
and
you.
Jason and I talked, and what was really important to me is that we recognize that we are a tourism agency and we want things that are kind of a little more grand in scale that would bring people, like the alleys and stuff. So what Kim and I have talked about would be that, okay, maybe of the 16 existing murals, maybe not all 16 make the cut to be refurbished. Maybe we get a professional like RC or somebody like that out to redo, like completely cover up and do something with a little more wow factor. Maybe some of them are really cherished in those communities and we preserve those, but we open it up to any type of art. And what we talked about was Kim, myself, or a representative from each of our organizations, and then one artist would form a committee of 3 with veto power, so that year after year, it's not just refurbish a small and refurbish a small and like that there would be some give and take where we could, as Kim said, let's do something big this year, and then, oh, that mural that we love in that small community, let's refurbish that this year. So it'd be a little of both, but with that money growing every year so that the principal's never touched, and we can do both of these goals.
And for all the future years, the Community Foundation will be monitoring the condition of these murals and making those recommendations as
Yeah,
they
because
come
we
out.
don't want our stamp on anything that looks
Yeah.
terrible in the community. So we have, like when they've gotten graffitied, we've gone out and like power washed them and those kind of things.
Okay.
And so we actually put protective coat on them too. That helps protect them from that. So our agreement with the artists and the property owners is that we ask that they maintain them for 5 years. Anything after that is up to them. But obviously, if we see that they're fading or whatever, we could go to that property owner and say, hey, let's refresh this. Do you want to bring in another artist? Do you want to, what is it that you would want to do? Or do you just want to paint over it? So
And that only works for the Color the County murals. There's a third-party mural out there that starts looking crap, but maybe they'll come and ask for some funds from that community.
yeah. I mean, I know there's some other big projects in the work, like public art projects and mural projects, specifically the water tower, and you guys are probably helping with that in some capacity. At some point down the road, 10, 20 years, that's not going to look nice. And so who's going to help support that? And so I think that that's where this Community Foundation and in partnership with Festival Country can step in and help with that. So, and we're continuing to grow. So even if the funds that this specific fund turns out every year or produces every year isn't enough, there are other funds at the Community Foundation that can be added to it as well. So
that was my thought, was whether you would come back to us for additional funds, say 2-3 years down the road, if there was a big one that exceeded the thousands.
It's funny that she said this. They have additional funds, but so do we. So it's like if we had the opportunity to do something like completely killer, they would draw people from as far away as Iowa. We could use the fund that we're talking about tonight, Iowa. Additional money from Kim and some additional money from us. So
Right.
Us doing this doesn't preclude us, like the Franklin Water Tower. If we were to, right by the amphitheater, if we were to do that, we couldn't do that with $4,000 in interest, but maybe we would see the value in that. Maybe we wouldn't, but at least we would know that there are options.
there's just a designated fund, because right now there currently is no designated fund for public art besides what you guys are doing here at Festival Country. So, and there really were just a few years ago, no designated organizations working on public art across the communities. But I think people have seen the value in them, and that people really do like them, and they do add some vibrancy to your downtowns. So
Any further discussion?
So it is 50 that you're,
I would like 50, but if we have to stick with
well, that's
40,
what's
it's fine.
stated on the sheet.
Yeah, I put 50 on that and then I walked into it. I was like, did I put 40 on the application? I messed up. So, that was my error.
Tried to open that up earlier on the computer. So.
30, but so Mr. Kopp was asking how much has been committed out of our budget so far this year. So I was just sharing with him about 30%. Yeah.
And note that, like, as an example, some of the projects that we approved last year may not, like the Edinburgh Plaza. That could possibly happen, but I'm guessing it'll probably, by the time they get all their ducks in a row, that'll go to next year. So as I was telling Jason when he was asking that exact same question, I think if we've got a good opportunity, we move forward with it and we will find the funds. You know, there's always ways to, okay, we'll put, this project's not ready, so we have another 100,000 coming in that we can do. So I'm confident that we could do this, do the grants for these other folks and still be fine this year.
And I think that this is just the tipping point of some of the conversations that Ken and I have had too on partnerships of how the community foundation can work with you. He mentioned the plaza. We gave a grant to the plaza in Edinburgh. We're helping them with the Pixie Theater as well. So there's partnerships where we can pull resources for collective impact by the grant making that we've been able to do. And so I think this is just another example of us continuing to pull dollars together to get projects done and to the completion line. So.
Yeah, and for those of you that aren't privy to this, so the Pixie Theater has been underutilized, obviously, the last several years. So folks in Edinburgh, you know, with maybe their help and our help, possibly take it over and kind of use it in the model of the art craft that became a fixture of downtown, programs 300 days a year and really help the downtown. So part of my interest in working with Kim on this art project is that we've also identified like 4 or 5 other things that we can't do alone. They can't do alone, but maybe us together and then partnering with somebody, we could knock 5 or 6 big things off the list in the next 5 years.
For those who don't know how the community foundation works, and maybe to refresh my memory, I know every new established fund has some paperwork. And sort of, I'm going to say, some bylaws, so to speak.
Just some.
But something to set the rules for that fund and the people who have control over it and all that.
Yep.
Tell us how that happens and that could get done.
Yeah, so if the assets are allocated tonight, we will get a fund agreement together and it would be between the Community Foundation and Festival Country. It'd probably be Ken and the president of the board. Is that you, Jason?
Yes.
Okay. I figured since you got to speak all night. Or your treasurer, whomever. You want that designee to be. And then you would review that, approve that once those signatures, and then we would start placing the assets into that account. It would get invested with our investment brokers. We work with Baird Trust Department out of Louisville, and we have a local team here in Johnson County that we work with, and then they would start that process for us. And then it's the average fund balance, 4% of that gets granted out every year. So 4% of 100,000, 4,000 a year. It can be spent in that given year, or we can hold it out and it can continue to, like, the next year's 8,000 or 12,000. I will tell you our returns at the Community Foundation have been great. So our assets have continued to grow. So that fund would continue to grow. We only distribute 4%, but last year our growth was 18%. So all that growth just goes back into the fund. So your funds are growing. Now, I will say this year is probably, like, I'm hoping for 5%. So temper your excitement. Gotta correct at some point. So, yeah. Any questions for me? But the Community Foundation, if you don't know, I hope that you will all take a look at our website. We manage over 360 funds at the Community Foundation. 80 of those are scholarship funds. Last year alone, we granted over $4 million back out into the community. We're $68 million in assets. And so we are thriving. We're your Community Foundation, and most of those dollars save right here locally. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Any further discussion? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve this request for $25,000.
50,000.
50,000. You're giving me 50. I'm giving 50.
Sorry. Let me start over.
I make a motion to approve this request for $50,000 to deposit with the Community Foundation to set up an endowment with Festival Country for the various art purposes we have discussed.
I will second that.
All right, so we have a proposal, or I guess a motion to approve $50,000 with matching funds for a mural foundation with the Johnson County Community Foundation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're also free to leave, but not before you,
Concrete. That's awesome. Speaking of concrete, did I see all the stuff out front of?
I saw it out there,
Yeah.
yeah.
When's that going in?
you were gonna do it now, but it could rain, so any day now.
Don't even do it.
Do I get copy of that?
Actually, just like.
As long as you do that too.
Right.
All right, our last grant, Johnson County Parks and Recreation. Based on the year that their events are in, the grants would total $10,000, but they would also like to be the host of ice skating again, and not for that full period, which is more expensive, but maybe just for the time of the deck the stalls. So that'd be an additional approximately $7,800. So they would be here tonight seeking $17,800. So I'll let them come up, introduce themselves, and answer any questions.
Hello, my name is Christy Howe, and I am the Recreation Director for Johnson County Parks. We're here tonight to seek grants for new events and also enhance a couple of our other events. Our focus is to bring new events to our park to help bring new visitors to our park, not only to the park, but also for the community. We're wanting to be able to grow our park events. Also, we want to encourage visitors to visit the outside area as well to help, like downtown Franklin, also with Nineveh, Trafalgar, and Edinburgh as well. We want to see, all of our community to grow as well as our park. Together, working with Festival Country, we feel that, we could make a better place to live here in Johnson County. It brings more money, can help us bring more activities to the event, which we can provide to the visitors. So sorry, I kind of went blank there. But working together, we feel that we can bring more people to the community and to not only preserve and conserve the park, but for future generations for Johnson County.
My name is Jerry Thompson, and I am a member of the Johnson County Park Board. I'm here to support Christy, but the mission of the board as well is to expand the free events that we have for the community, because we feel like parks give so much back to our community. Not only do we have Johnson County Park, but we have Independence Park. And as a board, our goal this year and the next 5 years is to grow and expand those. We have put a big focus this year as far as our internal money on Independence Park. It's 20 years old and it has had a lot of structures that have needed some repair. So we are, falling down. So we are putting a lot of our money into that this year, but we feel like parks give back. So they make our communities better.
Right. And again, Jason was kind enough to stop by the visitor center, and we talked about this is the first time somebody's wanted to do ice skating again, a second time. Normally it rotates. And so Jason and I talked about the possibility of them purchasing their own rink and having it year after year. So I talked to Christy before the meeting, and she's going to have to run this by the county attorney and run it up the food chain there. But I guess what we're seeking tonight is the $10,000 plus the $7,800. And then if they come back and the county's all on board for, hey, let's not rent one this year, let's buy one. And in 3 years, it would be, paid off. Maybe we just do that. But so that's kind of where that stands. And then she's also looking into buying a curling lane. So that's something that everybody can do. I would fall over if I skated, but I can, send the curling stone on its way. So she's got a little homework to do, but we have a matter before us tonight, and then she may be back later to tweak things.
So is the ask to basically take the 5 grant requests, combine them, and then $7,800 is
Yeah.
for the rental of the ice rink?
Yeah, that would be the plus. So she's really only eligible for 10,000 for those events, but then skating is something we always go above and beyond for, so that we would generally be willing to do $7,800 in addition to that. It's kind of how we have rolled in the past.
First of all, I'm appreciative of the fact that you paid attention to the rules on how much you can ask for how old these events are. Thank you. But I'm more appreciative of you bringing things to do in the southern part of the county. We've not had a lot of opportunities brought to us from down there, and you're positioned well for pulling people from Columbus. And our interest is pulling people into the county who aren't already here. If that helps our own residents have something fun to do, that's a win-win. So.
And for our Vintage Camper Rally, which is in May, the fun thing about this, I have campers that are coming from southern Indiana and across the river. They're coming from parts of Kentucky and Tennessee for this event. And within my welcome packs that I create for all the campers, Festival Country guides, I list all of those surrounding areas because, again, we're supporting each other. We're here and we're all working together as a community. And, not only for us to benefit for the campers and visitors to our park, we want to share it with our community. So.
My wife and I went to your first Vintage Camper Rally. It cost me a lot of money because she realized she really needed one of those.
They're neat.
I would like to say is at all of the events, Christy always invites Festival Country to have a booth there. So we do try to promote Festival Country at all of those. The other part of the park as well is the Hoosier Horse Park. And we have 52 shows scheduled for this year, and we pull people from all over the country. We have had them from coast to coast, and it's free for the public. So anytime that you have a grandchild or a child and they are bored on a weekend, take them to Johnson County Park because there's always a horse show.
And we have inside Dunn Arena in the diner area. We have a magazine holder on the wall, and the whole thing is filled with Festival Country booklets for all of the campers and riders.
Awesome.
So you mentioned Independence Park, or
Yes.
are any of these at Independence, or are all 5 at the main?
All 5 of these are this year is going to be at Johnson County Park and at the Horse Park. We're working on the Summer Series concert, and that is a possibility that we could do a couple at the Johnson County Park and we could do a couple at Independence Park to
Nice.
help do that area as well.
Thanks.
So 3 of these are new events. Is that correct?
Yes, we are doing a Military Appreciation Day on May 23rd. That's Memorial Weekend. And of course, May is Military Appreciation Month. We are also doing a fall festival, which is called Autumn in the Park. That will be October 3rd. That will be at our shelter area. We are also going to work with the Indiana nut growers because we have a farm plantation. They're going to bring Purdue in and have some signs put in. And then also some of our park user groups will also have activities too to help bring more people to this event to make it a huge success. And then the Summer Series concert, we're hoping to get that up and going as well.
Okay. How do you guys feel about, I guess, the staffing of some of these events, like the Summer Concert Series, the Military Appreciation Day? I know that Hoosier Horse Park and a lot of the things, the Renaissance Fair, you guys have a lot going on, which is awesome. Do you feel like there's going to be any kind of, I guess, maybe hurdles that you may have, whether it's marketing or staffing that maybe we can either help address, or?
I'm always looking for volunteers, anyone that wants to come and help, just at least, a smiling face to greet visitors as they're coming in. That is always so helpful. But I think that's the biggest thing. And also, if Festival Country, would just pop it on Facebook, social media, that would be, very helpful as well. Because of course, Festival Country has more followers than Johnson County Park does on their Facebook and Instagram.
We have also partnered with Avery,
Awesome.
Avery, the Military Appreciation Day. And so they have some of their troops. They have some of their troops that need some community service hours. And so they are going to provide transportation back and forth from the base to the park. The weekend that we're having that, they're supposed to have 4,000 troops in our county. They indicated to us that this was a really, really good year for us to do the Military Appreciation Day, because this year they're going to have more troops on our base than they have had in several years. And so we've kind of been working with them too to see if there are other events that we can do. They also told us that they are going to be the drone central base in the United States. And so Christy, I know, had talked to them about even trying to have drone races or whatever with us. But they said that they would also help us advertise on the base, that they've got, a site that their troops go to, that they will put the events on there for us as well.
Any further discussion? No. Do we have a motion?
So I make a motion that I still want to talk some more about the ice rink. I think we can make a motion on this though, and then maybe just have that as a separate discussion. So my motion is that we move to approve, pardon me, the 5 grants totaling $10,000 as listed.
Second.
Okay. All approve, or I guess all approving the grant request for $10,000.
Mr. President, just as a formality to see if there's any discussion.
Oh, is there any discussion regarding this motion? Nope. Okay. So all in favor to provide the grant request of $10,000 to the Johnson County Parks and Rec for the 5 events or the grants listed, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, congrats on that. And then I guess the second, Mr. Kopp, did you want to?
Yeah, I guess my question or concern with regards to that is one, if we can talk through what we did in the past, just to refresh. Clearly, there's a bunch of cobwebs and not much else up here. So what we did in the past with it, how the money would be used going forward, and then if there's talk about potentially purchasing one, why it makes sense to allocate $7,500 now if we as a county potentially could purchase something that could be used festival countrywide, right? Not just for the southern part of the county. So
Yep, great questions. Background is we identified in our long-term planning that winter was our slowest time. There was just nothing going on. And so we had the idea of testing out temporary skating rinks in hopes that one of our communities would bite the bullet and do a permanent one, preferably realize. But so it was in Franklin the first year for an extended run, downtown Edinburgh the second year for an extended run, Johnson County Park the third year for an extended run. What they're hoping to do this year is just for that particular Deck the Stalls festival, so a shorter run. Now, to address the second part, I think from my brief research in advance of the meeting, it seems like for the cost of 3 years worth of rental, we could probably buy one. But now we would probably just, they would intend to use it every year, so it would be there, which is not to say that some other entity
I mean, why
not during
can't-
that time frame could load it in a truck and come down and help them assemble it and disassemble it and then put it in a truck and take it to another community. So we could do this one of two ways. We could either approve the rental, or we could say, hey, go do your due diligence with the county attorney and folks, because are some concerns about liability. If you rent it, they bear the liability. If you own it, then you bear the liability. So there's some things they have to work through. So we could.
What about if you buy it, they're not sending people with skates and everything?
Yeah. So that's the other thing. When you rent with these companies, they'll bring a person to man it, to set it up, man it, tear it down, and bring the skates. So there would be the additional cost of the skates. That's another several thousand. So there's things to work through. So whatever you as the board feel comfortable with, do we approve the rental and have that on the books and then let them do the research? Or do we say like, okay, let's just put this off for a month. We still got a little bit of time, and then we come back with a more formal ask.
So another point that I wanted to bring up, and again, I could be completely wrong on what I'm about to say, and if I am, please correct the record. I think at some point we cracked the numbers on how many people showed up and the amount of money that we spent on the event, and it was pretty high, dollar spent to attendee going. I don't remember what that number was off the top of my head, but in my mind, I think it was three digits, but
How many
maybe that's not
people
correct.
attended the skating rink portion last year?
I think there was probably less than 100 for the entire week, but the day of, it was busy full day.
Yeah.
So
Busy during the whole event.
So that's basically why when we talked, we're like, I don't think that venue is appropriate to do it for the extended period. You would only want to do it during the festival, and that's what brings the cost down from 20,000 to like 7,000. So that's kind of where we landed with what works for Franklin doesn't work for Johnson County Park.
What's the shortest period that the vendors willing to set it up there?
Yeah.
A day.
Rental.
Today?
Seriously.
Yeah, just for your event.
And one question I have, maybe when you're speaking about a purchase, are you thinking that the CVT would purchase a rink?
No, we would give them the money and they would purchase it.
Well, but I'm talking about the future, having a permanent rink, because one thing that could probably be done is the CVT purchases a rink and then it could lease it out to other communities at a very low price. So if now there's storage issues, park may have space to store something, but it's just a thought that for me is because it does seem there's a demand, because it does seem that the board does like this to be in different areas from time to time. One thing to consider is making that property of the CVT. And
we don't have the trucks and the manpower and that's just not something we could undertake. I know Brad and the gang down there, I trust that they could set it up, tear it down, store it, and potentially help lend it to another community. But
Sorry.
you're already here. But certainly, we could not fit it in our branded vehicle out there, and we just don't have the capacity.
So Ken, if we decided in the future to go ahead and purchase a rink for them, so then we would still have like Greenwood or Franklin would still come to us asking for money to rent a rink for them.
Yeah, this synthetic rink is so cheap that we were talking about contributing $300,000 to a permanent ice rink in Greenwood, and so for 25,000 or plus skates, a total of 32,000, we could easily take care of that request. And then when Greenwood's ready, okay, we still got $250,000 for you. Let's make it happen up there too.
I feel like there's a lot of questions that still need to be.
John's idea, but
I mean, that was that was interesting.
If you needed a
Do we need a motion? Or
No, I support your suggestion to put it off for a month.
Yeah.
Let them do some more
that would
research.
be my motion.
Come back. Yeah.
The rental company, you're not going to lose out on a rental in 1 month. Okay. sounds like we have a plan.
I think that's a smart.
Yeah.
thing.
Right, I agree. Does that have to go under vote or is
No,
that good?
no, we
Okay,
just table that second portion until next month.
perfect.
We will let these folks go on their way, but not until
Step right up. Effort.
Right.
No worries. Thank you guys.
Thanks for wanting to make stuff happen.
Right.
Thanks for what you did. Yes.
have a good night.
Oh, the grant rate. That's up.
Okay, do we have any more grant requests?
No,
No? Okay, perfect. Moving to the treasurer's report.
Okay, for the tax period, January pay February, the Johnson County Treasurer's Office collected $63,101.93, which is up from $53,495.92 for the same month in 2025. This total was reached with 3 hotels not paying, 2 of which that had closed and the third is not paying currently. At the end of January, the CVT's checkbook balance was $749,834.38. Expenses presented in the month of February totaled $178,558.23. In February, there were 6 deposits totaling $250.59, and there was $5.34 paid in interest. At the end of February, the CVT's checkbook balance was $600,485.69. Expenses presented in the month of March total $114,408.23. These details have been shared on Teamwork for review. Claims are scheduled to be paid following tonight's board meeting.
I feel like after last week, we all can appreciate that you coming back and reading that.
Slam on somebody that
Kind of stumbled.
That hurt.
Awesome.
Do we know real quick why
Yes.
one hotel did not pay? Did we?
Yeah.
it's occasionally from time to time, it's late or isn't received in time for them to do the report. I imagine it's one of the small motels. I imagine they're going to pay next month. It's probably $300. I think we'll be fine.
Let's break the bank.
Yeah.
Again, back.
If we could get on that.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys are doing the right thing. You get that.
Yes.
We can do that.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Young.
All right, yes, John Young, attorney. Not really much to report this month. Me and Ken had some discussions over questions he had regarding, was it?
House Bills 12.
Yeah, but there was a question about entering into an agreement, was it with Trafalgar?
Oh, yeah, you know.
So, yeah, so some other things. But then Ken has stayed on top of legislation that is impacting CVTs. And there was a bill that made it through that is what, 167 pages, or was that just, that may have been the amendment to the bill that I was looking at. So, but only a very small portion would impact CVTs. And part of it is allowing, and this board has had this discussion, thinking about if it could bond to pay for very large scale projects that have came about. But part of the bill gives, like, I know the city of Carmel, the ability for the county to actually keep a portion of their innkeeper's tax to build a new hotel and convention center. So that is something that has came up in other communities, but we are not affected by that. But the change that it appears will happen, and I believe this would not happen until next year's board, is that now along the composition of the board, your appointments are either by the mayor of Greenwood or the county. And this bill says that the second largest city, I'd have to read the exact text, but for us, Franklin, the city of Franklin would be able to also have an additional appointment on the board. And it would not take away any of the current appointments, but you guys would have an 8-member board. And that's really what the statute says. So Oh, I apologize.
They're not all at night, that's.
Yes, 10 member board, yeah, because there's 3 appointments from the mayor, 6 from commissioners and council. And so this bill simply says that Franklin would also be able to make an appointment.
I would welcome that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the legislature and, Johnson County's a good example. Franklin
get
does have
the mayor.
hotels.
They have to.
Say where
I mean, Franklin does have hotels. A lot of, its innkeeper's tax revenue is coming here, even though the Franklin and the CVT have had an excellent relationship. Without the mayor being able to make an appointment, it's maybe been an issue in other counties. So I'm sure that will be welcomed by Mayor Barnett and the city, and just give them a direct voice on the board as well. So
We have to remind ourselves, our visitor center is in this building.
exactly. We lease our portion, so our portion's ours.
So
So
that bill passed or what's? the
yes,
status? Okay.
yes, that's my understanding. So I think it was Senate Bill 242.
That's on a house version, but.
Okay, I think it, so, I can follow up on that. And I'm certain that even if the law takes effect July 1, that the board appointments, I'm certain probably begin at, January 1st for next year. So I'll confirm all of that, but that's what how that bill would impact our CVT, and, that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Was there anything new on the gauntlet that may have come up last?
It didn't.
No.
It will result in a 5-5 vote gridlock every month, but aside from that, it's an excellent idea.
Unless we phrase it the correct way.
Must we
Right.
phrase it the correct way?
Like, what if we propose the motion the opposite way?
We can always count on Don, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Take the motion to vote against the proposal to rescind.
Would it make sense to have an odd number or not really?
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
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 That would forward, and some boards already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I haven't heard a person vote.
Okay.
Yet.
Moving to the president's report, I guess I attended the inaugural Trafalgar, State of the Town address, and we, I guess were mentioned, me and Ken were in attendance, as well as Felicia, and we received the brick. What was the brick?
So Brian Gregg, the town manager, gave a speech that basically partners like us are the foundation, and you want a foundation built of brick that are allowing Trafalgar to succeed. So he called out Jason, myself, and the mayors as his mentors, and also one of his best partners to help in his success. So I proudly display that brick on my credenza, and Jason received one too.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna go on the plaza.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll bring it down there. It's
Right.
fine for a month, and then I'll just bring it down there. I don't need it forever.
Absolutely, but at the address, actually during that time, Brian signed what did he exactly?
The building permit,
Building
because the amphitheater construction is going to start.
right,
So-
so it is moving along. Still with Edinburgh, I'm not really sure the status of that. I know they've had a few hiccups, but that's all I have to report. So I guess I'll move to Ken.
All right, thank you. I think you skipped ahead. Oh, it's in a different order this month. Before we get into placer data, I'm going to ask Mackenzie to first pass down a card. So, like most organizations, we send people cards when they win one of our prizes, or if to thank a trusted official. And we read this book as a book club called Fans First, and it's about the Savannah Bananas. And everything they do is not just what you'd expect. So we decided to up our game on basically everything. And Don, if you'll pass it along.
Now I understand. Nobody's asking me to sign this.
No.
To see it. This is a way. This is cool. Yeah.
It's a personalized card that says "Have a festive day" with our logo, and it's one of those pop-up cards. So, we're making probably a half dozen changes. We re-recorded our telephone greeting because theirs is so good that people call it and say, "Put me on hold," or "I'm going to call after hours so I can hear their telephone greeting." So we realized ours was boring. I mean, we're the place for fun, so we're upping our game in a lot of areas. That's the point of that. Then Mackenzie, would you pass along the Declaration of Independence? So you all had the foresight so that our county did something great during the 250th to order a giant Declaration of Independence that could be signed with a dry erase marker. You could get a picture with it and then wipe that off. So it made its first public appearance with Mackenzie at the county museum. Another county tourism bureau liked it so much that they asked, hey, how can we get one of those? So wanted to pass that along. It's always imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
I hope you didn't tell them. That way we'd be better than them. That was.
By the time they got it built, like it'd be a year be half over.
That's fair.
The third thing I'd like Mackenzie to pass along is one of the core tenets of our organization is to be responsive. We can't drive tourism if somebody reaches out and says, I need hotels, and we never get back to them. So somebody reached out to Felicia today. She hooked them up with the hotels that they didn't already have contacts with, all done within about an hour. The guy wrote back and said, thank you. I've been trying to work with another tourism agency, and despite repeated requests, they haven't got back to me. So I won't say who in a public meeting, but
It's on here.
So this is somebody that was putting on an event and looking for housing for the for people. Okay.
a sporting event, and they couldn't, this other agency would not answer their call. So that's not how we operate.
Oh, I see.
All right. I'm going to turn your attention to next to. Okay, so when you approve things like the upgraded alleys, we know that that's an investment that brings people. They come and they get their picture taken, they spread it on social media. But we just got $29,000 of free publicity for one of those alleys in the Visit Indiana guide this year. They let off their central Indiana section with that. And all these orange tabs are things that we got in this guide free of charge. So it just goes to show that if we communicate well with Visit Indiana and also build cool things that aren't in every other community, we get that free publicity.
May I tell them my little story about you and the visitor guides? So, you may not remember. So he's told us last month, I think it was, or maybe it's in the annual report, that we had 7,000 visitor guides requested through Visit Indy, and I thought, well, that's.
Oh, no, don't tell this during a public meeting. I'll tell it to you on teamwork.
Okay.
I'll tell it to you on teamwork.
He just didn't want me to spill any secrets.
Yes, thank you, Don.
Any marketing secrets.
It's
nothing.
it's a pretty good idea. I'll make a note to send that to you via teamwork. Also, some of you may already have our new activities guide in our annual report. If you do, just take a copy and give it to somebody that you know. If not, feel free to look these over. We're really proud. Felicia designed both of these. They never looked better. Just a couple examples of a new spread that she put in the activities guide was a social media page. So people, influencers and common people who just took photos and shared them with us. There's a page for that. And then we talked about how winter is kind of slow for us. So we created a coffee thread. Aerial shots of all the coffee shops. So.
No more pull-out map.
No, we saved money by getting rid of the map and putting in some more content. So that was kind of a decision that we did.
Gotcha.
Probably more pages than it's ever been.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is excellent.
And in other news, the hotels that were closed January 1st are supposedly reopening as early as March. So stay tuned for that. And I think I'll skip the future grant slide. We'll talk more about that next month. We've already had a very long meeting, but website, 8,600 unique users in February. Again, they're looking to us for festivals and events, including the Renaissance Fair and things like that. Event venues remain. And then that's the January summary from Placer on the number of trips and visit nights. Chicago and Indianapolis remain some top markets for us. Terre Haute has always been hovering a little lower, but it's moved up to number 3 because it is in our radius. We have our first stats from First Fridays this year, 2,900 visits, and they stayed 202 minutes for the first Fridays. Smith Travel Report, again, we're leading the comp set, and I took a sneak peek at the one that just came in today, and we're well over 70%, and we're the only one in our comp set that is in the 70s. So that's going well. And that's our current account balances.
Can you go back a slide?
Yeah, certainly.
So what are we doing as an organization to try to draw more hotels here to Johnson County? I mean, if we're consistently beating everybody else, what's our plan going forward to bring something else in?
My best bet is usually to work with city and town officials. So I've worked with the folks in Bargersville, and they have hotels planned for that interchange. The mayor of Greenwood, he's already got another one in the works. And well, I'll just leave it at that one, but there's also the possibility of a second project. And then in Franklin, that outlot by the other two nice hotels at the I-65 interchange, they hope to do a nice restaurant and a third hotel there. So we just work with the cities, and occasionally, like someone like Jeanette or Jason will also put the bug in your ear. Hey, ask Vince or ask Mrs. Sprague if, are they looking at our area? So we do that type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Be great for this board to be able to allocate more funds every year if we.
Yeah.
If
If we do our job and fill those hotels, and, we do those things like the co-op advertising, every dollar we spend is matched by Visit Indiana. So we get, twice the bang for our buck, and it pays off, and the hotels get filled, and we respond to people's inquiries and fill up our hotels because the other county didn't respond. We just keep doing that and fill these hotels, and they see our stats, they will come and build them.
Do you happen to know if there was ever anything progressed or anything considered where the Fana Suites were, where they demolished it? Is there any interest in that?
I have not
heard anything.
I've not heard anything for that site.
Just out of curiosity.
I will ask though. Yeah.
Some of the potholes there are big enough to be Airbnb.
I know.
Go to the basement for the future hotel, Don.
Right.
This week they're the swimming.
Exactly. The swimming pool.
The property owner, the buyer of that property, I don't think they're in the hotel business, are they?
No.
No.
So they were maybe.
So it could be apartments, it could be commercial, it could be anything.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard or seen anything, any type of movement on it whatsoever since it was demolished. I was just curious if anybody knew anything.
Yeah. Right. I think we've all taken care of that. So any questions?
Any comment about the sponsorship, or we'll wait until next one
Which one is that?
from Dustin Brand?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So Dustin Brenton, he's he's the one that puts on the Torchfire Film Fest at the Artcraft, a local, like a statewide film fest. He also now wants to do a movie of his own that will be filmed here. In the past, we brought you another movie project that was seeking funding, and the board just had zero interest in that, feeling that here was the prevailing theory. So like if there's a national movie with, I don't know who's popular these days, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the current version of that, The Rock, there we go. I don't watch movies. If The Rock had a movie, or like,
You don't say.
this is going out of control. The Home Alone house, if there was a national movie and the Home Alone house was here in Franklin, we would expect visitors to come to it. But if it's a locally produced movie that may only show at the Artcraft, people aren't going to see that and go, oh, I need to go to Ann's. I saw the movie at the Artcraft and Ann's was featured in the movie. And so that was what the past board thought. So rather than bring Dustin to this meeting, he and I talked, and he said, could you gauge the board's appetite? And if they have some interest in funding this movie, I could come back next month. So he's got sponsorship levels, everything from $100 to $50,000. I could just do a nice little donation out of the discretionary fund, or I could bring him back next month. Thank you, Don, for reminding me that I was supposed to ask you what your thoughts were.
Would this film play other places besides the art craft?
I can answer questions. So the one he's talking about doing, I'm sure it will premiere at the Art Craft. But the whole thing is you go to film festivals, find somebody who wants to get distribution. That may happen, that may not happen, okay? So it's either gonna be very small or it's gonna get some nationwide distribution. So the point is, if they film it in our county, you know, they've got some spend in the county for people who need like so actors who come and need a hotel. You gotta feed the crew, so these local restaurants, things like that. But then the other point is, how many locations might they use in there where, you know, if the movie does get wider distribution, might people go, oh, I might like to go back there. And so, you know, his statement was, you know, if he's already gonna shoot at Ann's, might be willing to add some other things that might fit into the plot line. But whatever's in there, you know, would end up in the credits, like, and it would say, oh yeah, and this is like, let's just say it was an amphitheater, there was a concert or something, and say it was in Bargersville in the credits, you know, people know where to find it. Festival country branding side, you know, that could be a standalone thing, support for the festival country. Well, there's some, you know, there's some benefits to it. Question, are they big enough?
Do you know much about the producer, the writer? Have they done this before?
It's Dustin. It's his first film.
It's his first film, and then it's basically
That would be
located.
his second, well, the feature film he showed last year, did he make that one?
I think that was a short.
No, it was a bunch of shorts and one feature film.
Okay. That he did, or
No, that's a good question. I don't.
I believe he said that this was his first.
I'd like to hear more about it from him.
Okay, so you'd like to
I
have
mean,
him.
that's where I'm at with it.
Was there two possibilities as well? I thought I saw that.
Yeah, so
Film's the festival.
if
One's the festival
if
and
we
one's
don't
the
see
film.
any value in funding a film that could go nowhere or could go somewhere, he is doing the Torchfire Film Fest, and last year we gave a gift basket. We could certainly sponsor that to $100 or $500 level or something. So we do have options.
Okay.
I have another grant request that came in too late for this meeting. I'll bring them back next month along with Dustin, and
Okay.
you know, we'll hash it out then.
That works. All right. Is that all, Ken?
That's all. Thank you.
All right, moving to, I guess, open the floor, public comment. Anybody from the stands? All right. Yes, you back there?
Bueller.
All right, I guess we will put it into motion to have an adjournment. All opposed, or I guess, who's the motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move to adjourn.
So moved, yeah,
Any second?
second.
Second? All right. Yeah, we're here forever. All right. I would like to join, say aye.
Aye.
All right, be adjourned.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said that. Say what?